Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, I'm answering a question that was sent to me by one of my lovely supporters over on Patreon. Patreon.com/PTCG Radio. You can get weekly bonus podcasts, and most weeks. Sometimes I'm busy. Most weeks there's a bonus pod. And you can get shout-outs on the channel, as you may have noticed at the end of the videos. You can join a Discord and chat with us. It's just generally an awful lot of fun. But a lovely Martin Cornwall, who has been one of our biggest supporters literally since I started the podcast back in 2012, has asked for a video about how to start investing in the Pokémon TCG. And I've seen lately a lot of people posting what is frankly bad information about investing in the Pokémon TCG, so I thought this might be a good time to come and give it a go. Although I do have to start with a gigantic caveat. You might be too late, if I'm honest with you. So take a set like Battle Styles. I've seen a few people lately suggesting, hey, you should be investing in booster boxes of Battle Styles. Really? Really? Should ya? Because right now I can go over onto eBay and I can buy a booster box of it for less than $100. And there's another listing right next to it for $115. Bearing in mind that when this launched, as in, we know the price have gone up, but when this launched, prices of the Pokemon TCG, you had $3.99 for a booster pack, 36 packs in a box. The RRP is $143.64. Battle Styles was Sword and Shield 5. We are now, there was the first set in year 2 of the Sword and Shield TCG. We are now moving into Scarlet and Violet, the first set. We are essentially 2 years on from Battle Styles. And it is still significantly below retail. Now, I'm not saying that in 20, 30 years' time, boxes of Battle Styles aren't going to be ridiculously expensive. Maybe they will. But the idea that right now a good idea in terms of investment is booster boxes of Battle Styles is kind of ridiculous, frankly. And the reason very simply is the secret is out. People know what's going on. And boxes of basically anything from the Sword and Shield set are going to be very, very hard to really invest in. Like, we know that Evolving Skies is the most popular set in the Sword and Shield era. It's the best set. That's not really a controversial statement at this stage. It is the best set. And right now, if I go and try and buy a sealed booster box of Evolving Skies, well, I'm going to be honest with you, it's a little bit all over the place. So let's just go and have a look at sold listings and see what the last sold one actually went for. $373, which honestly seems about right. And the thing is, Evolving Skies is a great set. And Evolving Skies will remain a great set. So everybody knows how great it is. So, yeah, sure, this is going to be a great set to have in the future. It's a great set to have now. You should have invested in Evolving Skies when it came out. And that's kind of what I mean. In the Sword and Shield era, there are so many people desperately trying to invest in the Pokemon TCG, looking for the next big hit, that it's kind of become impossible to find the next big hit. Unless it's a product that you can't get for love nor money. So let's take something like the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection. That came out as part of Celebrations, and it was an amazing product. And it was borderline impossible to find when it came out. And as it turns out, yes, the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection is, in fact, a great product to have invested in. That's true. And right now, if I go and try and buy that, it was a $120 product on release. The last couple that sold were, it's 3 in a row here. Best offer accepted at $380, sold for $330, best offer accepted at $425. But these things were like $300 on release. That was the rough going price. When these were actually released, they were selling for about $300. And they've not gone up a huge amount since then. Whereas you look at something like the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection, as an example, that is one where everybody tried the same trick. It's an Ultra Premium Collection. It's got Charizard in. Of course, this is going to balloon in value. No. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, these are selling for like $90 all day long. That's 25% off retail. And it's not that difficult to find them for that price, honestly. So sorry about that. Yeah. And that's kind of my point. If a product is extremely hard to find on release, it's probably going to be worth investing in. But it's also going to be very difficult to invest in. And by the time you pay over the odds on release, it's going to take a little while for it to keep going up enough in price to make your buying over retail worth it, so to speak. And the thing is, you can go back to Sun and Moon. And Sun and Moon, there were some sets which, well, let's go Crimson Invasion, shall we? Crimson Invasion, I think it's fair to say, not the best set in the Sun and Moon era. And the good news is, you can pick up booster boxes of that for around about $200-ish. And you're going back to Gen 7 here. And the bad set went, and here we are, years later at this stage. And I mean years later. Crimson Invasion came out in November 2017. We are now here in the early part of 2023. So we're talking like 5.5 years later. And it's gone up by like $60. It's gone up by about 50% in the space of almost 6 years. Which, to be fair, is still probably a better return you're going to get on something like Battle Styles. So yeah. Sword and Shield, you can't really invest in that unless it's a product which sells out on release. But even Sun and Moon, the bad sets in Sun and Moon are just not really worth investing in. And, we can look at some things like Guardians Rising as an example. Guardians Rising was a great set. We love Guardians Rising. And the good news is, if you have Guardians Rising, that, recently boxes have sold for like $275. Almost double. Not quite double. Almost double. But again, you're talking about half a decade and you've just about doubled your money. Like, in any kind of real investment scenario, doubling your money in like 5 years, and really doubling your money is a bad way to look at it. You've made like $130 in 5 years. Just take like a few extra hours at work. Now, if you go back to the X and Y era, now we're talking. If you go back to the X and Y era, if you go back to Gen 6, and let's pick a set that I particularly liked, a good set from Gen 6. What did I like from Gen 6? Roaring Skies. Roaring Skies was a good set. That was actually a pretty popular set on release. A Roaring Skies booster box, yeah. A decent one of them is going to set you back about $500. That's about the going rate for Roaring Skies, about $500. Which, to be fair, is over triple retail, but Roaring Skies is a very old set. A very old set indeed, and we're still only talking like $500. This came out in 2015. This came out 8 years ago, and it's gone up to $500. And the thing is, if you started when I started, oh, you had some beauties. Because let's take Call of Legends. Now, Call of Legends, on release, nobody wanted Call of Legends. It was the set that nobody wanted as their prize packs from tournaments. It was horrendous. Nobody wanted Call of Legends. You could not get rid of Call of Legends, and I bought several booster boxes of it for below retail. Call of Legends you just could not get rid of, and nowadays, because it's got all those shiny Pokemon, etc., Call of Legends booster boxes are very, very, very expensive. The ones that are up for sale on eBay at the moment are 30 grand. And the really annoying thing is, I could easily have saved one of these. I bought a couple boxes, and then I bought a couple more when they were really cheap. I really liked Call of Legends, and I opened them all. I opened a lot of packs of Call of Legends. I could have kept these sealed. The thing is, nobody wanted Call of Legends, and nobody was speculating back with Call of Legends. Nobody was doing it. And that's why these boxes have gone up to like $30,000. Because it's a set that nobody liked, so nobody really bought it. And the people that did buy it were people like me who were opening it. And nobody was trying to invest in them. And because nobody was trying to invest in them, there just aren't that many sealed ones around. There are a million people out there who are convinced that at some point, Battle Styles is going to be, because it's another set which is fairly unpopular. People are convinced that Battle Styles is going to be the next big set. But my point to you is really simple. If a set like Roaring Skies, a great set, 8 years down the line goes up to a whopping $500, do we really believe that a box of Battle Styles is going to be any more than a couple $100 in half a decade? I don't think it is. And the thing is, there are a heck of a lot more speculators now than there were back in 2015 when Roaring Skies came out. To put it very simply, there was a point, and we're really talking around about when Gen 5 was coming out, where you could be buying up booster boxes, setting them aside, and making big money. And to be fair, kind of any time before that. But if you started around about Gen 7 trying to invest in sealed products to make money, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to find yourself a little bit disappointed. And if we look ahead to Scarlet and Violet, which sealed products of Scarlet and Violet are going to be worth putting away and sealing for the future? None of them. Sorry, but they're not. Like, the best products, as far as I'm concerned, coming out with Scarlet and Violet are the Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes. They are great, because you get the two promos. You get the regular promo and the stamped promo of Koraidon or Miraidon, depending on which one you go for. Do you want the bad news? Everyone knows this. There are going to be so many people buying these up and keeping them sealed so that they go up in the future, which means even if they do rise a bit in price, it's never going to rise that much because there's going to be so many people that have them ready to sell as soon as they start going up a little bit in price. And I know that we're 12 minutes into the video and I haven't really helped yet. The real big answer to how do you invest in Pokemon TCG cards is go back to the early 2010s and start buying stuff up there, because honestly by now you're like at least a decade too late. There was a point where you could buy booster boxes and they would go up to tens of thousands of dollars within a few years, but unfortunately that was when nobody was buying up booster boxes and setting them aside. Now that people are, it's not worth it. So what can you do? What is worth investing in? And the answer is anything that's a real pain to get hold of. Like the Celebrations Ultra Premium collection I mentioned earlier, or one of the best products in my collection, and you know I opened it, I literally did a video of me opening it, but the Precious Collector box. That was worth investing in. I spent about 120 quid on that box, about $150, something like that, and nowadays I can sell that over on eBay. I mean, let's go for the ones that have actually sold, shall we? Let's show you the ones that have actually gone and been sold. I can be selling that for like $500. And then this is in the space of a couple of months. So it cost about the same as a booster box, and it went up to the price of about a Roaring Skies booster box pretty quickly. And the reason for it was made to order, which was lovely, but it was a big fancy made to order product that was only available in Japan. There's no English equivalent thereof, and therefore, as soon as they stopped taking pre-orders for it, the price started jumping, and here we are. This is the kind of thing that's worth investing in. And look, if you do it as a hobby, as a collection that you might sell some of later on, then go and get yourself one of every Elite Trainer box. Go and get yourself one of every booster box and just stick them aside and look at them on the shelf looking pretty, knowing that maybe in the future you sell them. I don't know, it might be worth it. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for how do you invest in the Pokemon TCG in 2023, how do you buy sealed products with a view to making money, you either get extremely lucky or you muck about with stuff which is really hard to get hold of. Building a sealed collection is fun. Building a binder full of cards you like is fun. That's what we should all be doing. But I've seen multiple people recently going, hey, it's time to invest in battle styles. No! It's not time to invest in battle styles. If Roaring Skies gets to $500 in 8 years, and that's a great set when the amount of speculators was way lower, there is absolutely no way that battle styles can match Roaring Skies, which means in 8 years it's going to be less than $500, which means why are you investing in battle styles? I do a bunch of videos on this channel where I show you what's going on. Products that are jumping in price, products that are dropping in price. I find that stuff endlessly fascinating. What I don't do a lot of on this channel is you should invest like this. And the reason is really simple. The investment opportunities in modern Pokemon TCG aren't really there. But if, like me, you're doing it for fun and picking up the products that you think look good, you are going to occasionally find yourself with a precious collector box, which is worth way more than you paid for it, and I'm not going to be selling that anytime soon. But I do very much like having it. Thank you once again to the lovely Martin Cornwall for suggesting this topic, a very interesting topic, and I'm sorry to all of you, and especially to Martin, that I couldn't give you a better answer. But this is the answer. There are certain products that are actually worth investing in. They are really hard to get hold of, but I've shown you with actual prices and data why it's not worth investing in modern booster boxes unless it's a set like Evolving Skies. If we have another set like that sells out every time it comes into stock, and you see it, and I did see Evolving Skies come into stock a few times on like the Pokemon Center. If there is a product which is jumping up in price and selling out every time it comes out, and then you see it appear in stock, that is worth investing in. Outside of that, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the answer you were looking for. Never mind. For now, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know which products you prioritize. I want to know anything you want to tell me, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kinds of fun things. And of course, get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Martin Cornwall, who is a very lovely person, and like I say, has been supporting since the very, very beginning. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.